Hey everybody, it is Sipping with Sue time. I am Szu-Moy, and it is time to go ahead and grab a drink, let your hair down, and let's get this weekend started. If you're just joining us for the first time, we are on Facebook and on YouTube chatting with real people doing real things extraordinarily. And this week, we are talking with Tony Reveal on all things travel domestically. Last week, we were talking about all things travel internationally. So this week, we've got domestic travel with Tony. Welcome, Tony. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No worries, no worries. So Tony and I met last year.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so we met just a year ago and it was a COVID situation, but we actually met through domestic travel, which is also very fitting for this conversation.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so you're coming in from where again?
I'm currently in Atlanta, Georgia. I actually just moved here a week ago, so
Okay, so
still
moving,
again.
okay, so in Atlanta, Georgia. And so we were coming in from San Antonio. And so Tony and myself and my husband Juan met over in Alabama at Barber Motor Speedway at the Barber track for a weekend track day, which was super cool. So went to go travel over there, and we love Barber. I mean, we can even talk about Barber for like I think the whole entire show because it's just a cool, just neat area for like the whole entire family to have a good time at. But yeah, we got to be uh, I can't say garage buddies because there was no garages there.
No, there were no garages. We shared some pavement. How about that?
Yes, we
The
shared
parking
pavement.
lot.
Yeah, so we were parked right next door to each other, and it was a good time. So met Tony through that, and then so he said I did a call out on Facebook and was like, hey, you guys, who's the most traveled? And he was like, yeah, I've done a lot of travel too. And but the thing is that like especially for me personally, I've done a lot of international travel, and I have to say it's pretty sad that I haven't done as much domestic travel as I should, being a U.S. citizen, of the U.S. And I think a lot of folks, have that like little thing that happens like, yeah, I'm from New York. Have you been to the Statue of Liberty? No. So, so
It's
yeah,
right
I'm
there
like,
in your own city. How could you not go?
I know. So then well, that's the thing. So I made it a point when I got stationed in San Antonio, and I went over there and transferred over to there, that one of my first things to do was to travel just within the city of San Antonio. But it's still a thing that like if I'm going to go somewhere, I'm usually doing international travel.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about where you have been within the U.S. for your domestic travel.
Oh boy, where to start? I've been all over. Pretty much everywhere except the Northeast states and Alaska and Hawaii. I have been to New York, specifically Manhattan and Long Island, but
Long Island, whoop whoop. Born and raised, baby, born and raised.
oh, I've actually been to Connecticut also, but all of those other New England states, I've not been there. So,
Gotcha, gotcha.
but my favorite places to go are out west.
Okay. Okay. So what draws you out west for audience folks that are thinking about going out west? Because again, we're in those summer months when kids are out of school and families have, families and just single folks in general, it's nicer weather. So we're taking off work and we're heading on vacation somewhere. So what's good to go to on the west side or on the west coast?
Not necessarily just the West Coast, just west.
Okay.
I'm an outdoors kind of guy. I like to be outdoors. I love trees and mountains and fresh air, and so places like Yosemite and like in Washington State, the Cascade Mountains and the Olympic Mountains. Those places draw me in. They're just beautiful.
Gotcha.
But
So I can't ask you the beach and mountains question because it sounds like you're a mountain guy.
I'm a mountain guy. My, my wife loves the beach. I love the mountains. So I guess it's true what they say, opposites attract, right?
Yeah, well, that's Juan's the beach guy, and I mean, I love the beach too, but I really prefer the mountains. I'm a
Yeah.
mountain gal, so yeah, yeah. There's something about them that draws me to them as well. It's gorgeous. Cool. So you've
Yeah.
been through how many cities or how many different places have you been within the US? I think you said something like 33 different spots.
So I've been to 33 states, and I honestly couldn't count how many cities and towns and different places I've been. Um, and the reason for visiting so many different places is because I like to drive. I like I don't do destinations. I do trips. I like to get in the car and go, and I'll have a destination in mind, but I'll also have places along the way that I want to stop and see.
Mhm.
Um, I would say one of my favorite trips was driving back to Texas from Seattle. That was an adventure.
Awesome.
um, it was me and a buddy, and we had a Jeep and a motorcycle, and we just took turns. But it was April, so still getting some snow in some areas.
Mhm.
but we planned this whole journey. We were going to go to the redwoods and drive through one of the trees, the trees with the roadway right through it.
Yes, yes.
Um, we were going to go to Yosemite and Las Vegas. Um, but uh, on the way, we had a couple of incidents. I got stuck riding the motorcycle in rain, sleet, and snow going over mountains. It was quite cold. Then the Jeep got run off the road. It was a 2-lane road, and there was someone coming towards us. And I mean, they were right in the center of the road, and they ran the Jeep off the road, and
Wow.
damaged. I forget what they damaged, but we had to stop. We had to get a tow truck, go to the next town, and find a shop that could repair it. And got stuck there for a couple of days, and it was fun because yeah, it kind of sucked that the Jeep was damaged, but we're in a new place. We were in I think that was in Redding, California.
Okay.
So we were like, well, what is there to do in Redding? Where's a great place to go eat? What do we have to see while we're here? And we just made the best of it. We got down.
Way to spin something that you say it's an adventure and then you say it's fun. Most people have been like, I got, ran off the road. It was a nightmare, and way to spin it. Love it.
Yeah, no big deal. I mean, we spent more time there than we had planned to, and had more fun than we anticipated. But then we went further down south. We got to Yosemite, and we arrived kind of late. We'd actually planned to arrive early and set up a tent. And when we got there, it was 10 o'clock at night. It was dark, and we couldn't set up.
Mhm.
So there's a town right outside of the park, and we stopped there and found a hotel. And as we drove through town, we noticed there was a saloon.
Mhm.
And so we got checked into the hotel, and we went over to the saloon. It was called the Iron Door Saloon, and it was literally a giant iron door.
Mhm.
And we walked in, and it looked like something out of the Old West. And there was a guy behind the bar, and he was talking to a couple of people at the end of the bar, and it was otherwise empty. And we just walked over to the bar, slapped our hand down, and said, "Whiskey." And the guy looked at us. He's like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" And we said, "Well, what do you have?" He's like, "I'm new here. I don't know."
Mhm. Wow.
So I mean, it's just have fun.
Yeah, for
Make the
sure.
best of everything, and you'll be surprised.
So when you went to Yosemite, because I've not been, and I know a lot of my friends have been, did I'm assuming doing some hiking up there, yeah?
Yeah, we spent about a day hiking. It actually snowed while we were there, so we didn't get to go too far, but we did do some hiking. It was beautiful.
Nice.
We got to hear the story about the waterfall, and what do they call it? The fire. I forget what they call it, but there was something to do with fire in the waterfall. It was interesting.
Yeah, so for any of our friends out there that have been to Yosemite, tell us about this fire and waterfall. Tony drank too much whiskey, he forgot.
I
Oh my goodness. So what's your favorite vacation spot and why?
Um, that's actually a tough one. So I've been to so many great places. It's hard to pick one. But if I had to choose, I would probably say uh, there's a town in Washington State called Leavenworth, and it's in the Cascade Mountains, and it's very German. I mean, if you look it up on Google, you'll see it looks very German.
Mhm.
Um, but it's right there in the mountains, and it's just beautiful scenery, and there's interesting little shops to go check out. Um, and then there's also rafting, and you can go you drive. It's a couple hour drive, but you can go to Lake Chelan, and Lake Chelan's got like a little resort on it, or you can camp out if you want to go camping. Um, yeah, I mean that's probably my favorite place. It's just beautiful.
Awesome. So you're all up in Washington State. You know, my son's there. So I'm like,
Was he?
hey buddy, take notes because when I come visit, we're going to all these places.
Do you ski or snowboard? Do you like winter sports?
Yeah, of course. So I ski. I said I will never touch a snowboard until I'm like a really good proficient skier. It's not
Mhm.
happened yet, so
Okay,
I'll
okay.
stay on skis.
No problem. So
Yeah.
on the way to Leavenworth, there's I can't remember the name of the place. Stevens Pass. Here's a great place
Okay.
to go skiing or snowboarding. They also have night skiing, so they have lights, and
Fun.
you can stay until 10 p.m.
Uh-huh.
One year I was there, they stayed open. I was there for New Year's. They stayed open until midnight.
Nice. So do they have like a DJ and they're spinning and they've got the lights like roller skating?
I was on the mountain. I don't know.
Okay, so
uh,
so sidebar, like in Europe, they have night skiing and they'll have a DJ and it's like super fun and yeah,
okay.
it's literally like, when we used to go roller skating and you but it's skiing or boarding. So
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah. With
Okay.
booze.
With booze, yeah. Gotta have booze.
Always, always, yes. Too funny. Well, cool. So, do you think so? I heard you, saying that you like to drive, and I really like
Mhm.
to just, take the car out. So, I'm going to assume that if you're traveling domestically, you would prefer going by car rather than by plane or any other modes or train or something like that.
Sure. I mean, it really just depends. So, yes, I would prefer to take a car because I can just stop wherever I want, see whatever I want. I know where my destination is, but there could be a lot of things to see and do along the way that you're just not going to see from an airplane at 30,000 feet.
Sure.
But then there's always we're short on time. We don't have time to drive 2,000 miles. Let's just fly and get there, and that's okay too. Um, but my preference would be to drive.
Yeah, so you can get those little nuggets along the way. And so, how often, when you were driving to whatever that destination was, I've got this trip planned and I'm going to this destination. How many times did you find some like amazing nuggets along the way? And what's one of those nuggets that really stood out to you? It wasn't planned that you just wound up stopping to.
um, Probably Tombstone. It was not planned, but driving through town, I'm like, oh hey, wait a second. This is where the OK Corral happened. Let's go check that out. And you
Mhm.
walk in, or not? You don't walk in. It's an old town. People actually still live there. I would have thought it would have been
Like a ghost
ghost
town.
town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but people actually still live there, and they operate the town, and it's a tourist trap. But all the bars are still open, and they've got a place called Big Nose Kate's Saloon, and a few other places, and you can walk in, and I doubt that it looks exactly like it did 100 years ago, but it's got that very old west feel. Yeah, it was just neat.
Yeah, yeah. A hidden gem that you wouldn't have seen maybe if you were obviously traveling by plane because you would have missed it.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the trips that you that or what are some of the tips that you would give to folks traveling domestically?
Um, So always have cash. I mean, everybody takes credit card, but always have cash just in case, because you never know. There could be some strange
Especially with
emergency.
cars and tolls. Not every place takes credit card. They still
Yeah,
sometimes have change or whatever. I
yeah.
thought that was weird driving in some places.
I remember on a trip to I I think I was going to Montana. I went through Denver, and there's a toll road that goes around Denver, and it probably cost me $20 in tolls to use that road. No, I was like, are you kidding me? Uh, anyway, something else might be let me see. If you can walk instead of taking a taxi or an Uber, walking down the sidewalk, you might see some interesting new shop and or not new to you shop. You've never been there. That yeah, oh hey, let's go check this place out. They've got cool stuff. That happens.
Mhm.
That happens a lot. The last time I was in Chicago, I found a new little shop. I don't remember what it's called, but uh, take a walk instead of catching a ride. Or make make a list of things that you want to do, but be flexible. Don't set a schedule and say we've got to stick to this, do this. That kind of sometimes can drain the fun out of it too.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's the way we travel, regardless if it's, well, if it's our vacation time, right? And
Mhm.
it's going to be our set, we do have a set schedule and set time period that we have to fulfill X, Y, and Z. We have a loose schedule and we build in rest days just
Okay.
so that, just so that we do have that flexibility to say, okay, we said we were going to sleep in, but I still want to go. Like we were walking around and we found this cool place that I want to go back to and check out. Let's go there, kind of thing. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't jam pack everything in because you wind up needing a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah.
It's just too much, and it's probably not as fun as you would like. If you just take your time and just kind of peruse and just discover, I guess is the best word,
That's
is
the best
probably
one.
better. Yeah, for sure. Um, what else? What about hotels? Any tips on hotels while you're traveling domestically?
I think every person is different.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I, I'm not opposed to sleeping in a Motel 6 if there's not another option, but it's not my preference. But I'm also not going to splurge and spend $500 a night on some fancy place because let's be honest, I'm only going to sleep there. Is it worth $500 to sleep there? Not to me, but it might be to somebody else. Um, so I would just say choose something in an ideal location that allows you to do that walking that we discussed. Um, and that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, unless it's like the Atlantis, right? Then you're paying for the hotel.
And you're paying for the
We've got
hotel.
everything integrated into it, or like those resorts and whatnot. But yeah, definitely having a centrally located hotel, which winds up, you'll find, I think, Motel Sixes in those areas, but they're even high priced,
Mhm.
depending on if they're in the city center or not.
That's
Yeah. What do you think about packing? So how do you pack when you're traveling?
I'm a minimalist. I usually just take what I need. So um, it,
There's no what ifs for you, like
no,
most females. What if this? What if
and
that?
no, I don't pack the kitchen sink or anything like that. Yeah, no.
I didn't
Uh,
say pack the kitchen sink. I just have some what ifs.
no. I'll pack shorts and I'll pack jeans and I'll pack mostly t-shirts.
Mhm.
Um, if I have plans to do something nice, then I'll take something nice to wear with me. But generally speaking, it's just the clothes that I'm going to need while I'm there, and then my toothbrush and that sort of thing. Uh,
Yeah, so the toiletries and whatnot. Yeah, I know most guys are, I think, minimalists also. Although items are much bigger than ours. So we have like smaller, tinier items, more of them, and you guys have less of your bigger items. So yeah, I think it evens out.
Here I am talking about a minimalist, and I'm thinking back to that trip to Barber, and I had 3 canopies and a table, and
That's
like,
right. That's
is that
right.
minimalist? I don't know.
Yeah, but we were representing Texas, so we wanted to
Uh,
make sure all of Alabama knew that Texas was there.
that's true, and I was proudly flying the flag, the Texas
That's
flag.
right. That's right. We had our Texas canopy up and we were like, let's go. And we're so excited to do that again
I know
in
it's
September.
it's just over a month away too. I'm excited.
Yeah. So for you motorcycle riders out there, if you've never been to Barber and want to do a track day, and it's 3 days, and it's over Labor Day weekend, it's super fun. The museum, I can spend a whole day just in the museum, and then I can spend a whole day just on the grounds without ever like doing anything else. And of course, you guys ride, so of course the track is
Sure.
amazing.
But I mean, there's a lot to see. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
there's the museum and they've got cars and motorcycles. And I recently saw they had boat outboard motors somewhere
Yes, they
inside the
do.
museum as
Yes,
well.
they do. Yeah, they have motors from, if it had a motor, it's in there.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy. Yeah.
And if you go out on the grounds, there's little hidden statues all over the place.
Little
There's a
gems.
there's a little um, not alive, but a stone alligator in one of the ponds. They've got a koi pond. I don't know if I told you that.
Mhm.
Um, there's just a lot to see.
Did you see Sasquatch?
I think I did see Sasquatch.
There's all kinds of little gems everywhere. It's fun to just walk the grounds and see it. It is fun for like just big and small and everything in
Yeah.
between for every age group. It's a really a good time. So you'll definitely see Tony there. We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. That's all the questions I have so far.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to add as far as
Um,
traveling domestically, and anything you'd like our folks to know as far as some little tips and tricks, and somebody who's seasoned, done it a bunch of times?
Not really any tips or tricks. Just get out there, go see the country, and have fun.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Good, great words of wisdom. So every time I have folks on, I like to do a just for fun speed round. And so
Okay.
we're going to go ahead and roll through those questions really quick. So what's your
Okay.
favorite city? Ready, go.
Ooh, favorite city. You know what? San Jose, California.
Okay, why? What's so amazing
Uh,
about San Jose?
it's not necessarily San Jose proper. It's just outside of San Jose. There was some fantastic motorcycle riding in the hills around that area.
Okay, we'll have to ask hubby about his San Jose riding.
Okay,
Yeah, well, he's up in the Bay Area, so I'm sure he's ridden all over California to
that's
know.
where he's at right now.
No, he's not there right now.
Oh,
But
okay.
no. But I mean, he's from there, so I'm sure he's ridden
Oh,
through there. So yeah,
gotcha.
I'm sure he'll be like, yeah, that's good riding. Okay, so must-have item you can't live without when traveling.
Probably my phone. I use it to look up places to go, and of course get directions, read reviews, and then it's got a camera. Got to take photos,
Oh,
right?
of course, and video. Yes, I
And
use
video,
mine for
yeah.
that. Like, man, when we were in Thailand and I had the unfortunate rowing incident where Juan didn't want to take his phone, took my phone, put it in his back pocket, and we're rowing around the
Hmm.
island, salt water, salt water, salt water. I was like, this is like years of like photos and videos that luckily they were able to salvage, but I was,
Oh, okay.
ooh.
Well, I use an Android phone, and I pay a little extra for Google storage, and it automatically backs up my photos to Google Drive. So
So yeah, well, again, lesson learned. After
yeah,
that trip, everything went to the cloud.
there you go.
Everything went to the cloud from there on out. All right, so backpack or rollerboard when you're traveling?
Oh, if I'm going to the city, I'll take a rollerboard. If I'm going out to the mountains, I plan on hiking and camping. I'll take a backpack.
Cool. All right, so first country that, or first, sorry, first state that comes to mind that you've never visited but have always wanted to?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
I've
Oh,
not
yeah.
been. Oh, specifically, probably Oahu.
Oahu?
Yeah.
So Waikiki Beach and chilling out there. Okay. Okay. So I've been and now I want to head out to the other islands. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm like, I want to see something else. So yeah, the traveler in us, we're like, okay, we got that. Let's move on.
Yeah. I do have my places that I've been to that I would love to go back to, but I will probably go to new places before I go back to some place I've already been. So
Gotcha, gotcha. I'm a repeat offender for a few places that I'm like, I got to go back. I love it so much. But yes, we're definitely all about at least annually seeing someplace new, whether it's usually it's a country, city, state, whatever, someplace new. Like he just went to Boston, and we were talking about Boston, and I'm like, I would love to go to Boston. Never been. So one day.
I almost went a few years ago for a job. I was interviewing for a job. I would have loved to have gone just for the history.
Yes,
I like the
yes.
history of that area too.
Yeah, so it's on my bucket list of like US places to go.
Yeah.
Yosemite is another one I want to get there as well. So,
Oh,
yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there
okay.
for sure. But thank you so much, Tony, for being on. I appreciate you
Of
and
course.
all of everything that you brought to the table. I know a lot of folks do travel. That's like a no-brainer. Like, oh, I'm going to travel, but sometimes we don't do it as smart as we would like, right? Or we can always learn something new and be like, I never thought of that. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you being on. And for the folks that have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. We are on YouTube and Facebook. Remember to click the bell to get all of the latest content first. Next week, we are talking about some neat products from a very unlikely source. So we'll see you guys next week. Take care.